Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day to day lives. Let's start with the video.
A few weeks ago, my sister in law asked me if she could stay with me and my husband. I'm a military wife, so my husband does not really stay with me all the time. Since we got married a few months ago, we still don't have any children. So when my sister in law asked if she could stay with me, I agreed. Just to let you all know, sister in law was married to my husband's elder brother. She was a very loyal and faithful wife. Even after his death, she refused to meet any other guy. My mother in law really loved her a lot because of the dedication she had towards her husband. So, after her husband died, my mother in law started treating her like a daughter. She moved on with me a few weeks ago. Another reason why I agreed was because I have never really bonded with my sister in law. It's not like we hate each other, but we're not really very close because we had never really spent any time with each other. The only times when we meet each other are in family gatherings and dinners. Other than that, we hardly met each other. So when she moved in with me, I thought that we could get to know each other and even become friends. For about 1 week after she moved in with me, she was just fine. She would even cook me dinner and I would make breakfast for her sometimes. We were really getting along for the first week, but things began to change after about 1 week. During the second week, I saw that she had brought over a few people. At first, I did not really mind her, but then it was getting annoying. She would regularly bring in people, and they were not of the best kind. They would act like a bunch of crazy high schoolers. They were very ill mannered. Every day they would come over and wreck my living room and eat up all my food. And my sister in law would never clean up. So I would have to clean up all of their mess every morning. I was annoyed and told my sister in law. She told me that I was overreacting and was being jealous because I did not have any friends. I was speechless because my mother in law would often tell me how kind and well mannered she was. I never expected her to be so rude. I was flustered, to be really honest, so I could not really say anything. By the next week, she started bringing a guy over. She introduced him as the love of her life. She also said that I was not supposed to tell this to anyone. I was really shocked. She had been dating him for about a year now, but still pretended to be single in front of my mother in law because she was still in love with her late husband. I was really shocked. She also started asking me to give her and her boyfriend some space by asking me to not return too early or stay out the night. Things became worse when she started asking me to move out. I was furious. It was mine and my husband's house. She was the one who was staying here as a guest because we let her. She had no right to tell me what to do in my own house, let alone to move out. I mean, who did she think she was to order me around in my own house? I was really angry, so I told her that she could move out if she had a problem with me being there, but there was no way in hell that I would move out just because she wanted to have alone time with her boyfriend. But you know what she did? She called my mother in law in front of me and told her that I was being a total bitch to her. I was so angry, but before I could even say anything, mother in law started yelling at me for being mean to her sweet daughter. I really wanted to tell mother in law everything about sister in law, but did not because I was not a person who broke her promises. I had promised her previously that I would not tell anyone about this, so I kept my promise. The next few days, she continued to be a bitch. She would continuously ask me to move out and trash my living room and even finish all the food in the pantry. One day, I got back home from work and saw that all my stuff was missing. I went to my sister in law and asked her where all my things were. She said that she threw all my things away as I was being annoying and refused to listen to what she had said before. I went out of the apartment and saw all my things were outside. I was furious. I decided that I had enough of her terrible attitude and called my mother in law. I told her to come over to my apartment. I did not tell her the real reason, but just told her there was an emergency. After my mother in law came, I took her straight to the apartment without saying anything. As soon as sister in law saw mother in law, she was shocked. She could not believe that I would do something like that to her. I explained to mother-in-law how sister-in-law was being the real bitch and asked me to move out of my own apartment just because she wanted to spend some time with her lover and threw all of my things out because I refused to do as she asked. My mother-in-law started yelling at her. Since I won't be able to tell you all word by word what happened, I will give you an overall context. So basically, after my husband's brother died, my sister in law had a very hard time. My mother in law helped her out a lot, and after that, mother in law considered sister in law as her own daughter. Since sister in law refused to date, she said that she was still in love with her husband. Mother in law was very much impressed to see her dedication. Mother-in-law also started giving sister-in-law money because sister-in-law did not have a job before. Mother-in-law also promised sister-in-law that she would receive all of mother-in-law's properties because mother-in-law did not want to leave her alone. But sister-in-law already had a boyfriend. Since she did not want to lose all the inheritance that she could get, she decided to continue to pretend that she was going to be single forever. Mother-in-law said that she would not have any problem, but she was really angry that sister-in-law decided to use her dead son's name to get money out of her. At last, I ended up throwing her and her lover out of the apartment. I was not really planning to update this post, but then again, many of you kept on asking, so I decided to just update it. Okay, so I came to know a few days ago that after I kicked sister-in-law out, she was forced to live with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was not a good person. He would often take money from her and would drink all the time. After a few days of staying with her boyfriend, they broke up and her boyfriend stole a lot of her money. She also lost her job and had to go back and live with her parents. I kind of feel bad for her now. Am I the a-hole for kicking my sister-in-law out of my apartment? Firstly, I would like to thank you all for all the support I have gotten from you all. You really helped me a lot and comforted me when I needed it the most, and I'm really thankful for that. I'm really grateful for all the support. You all were really eager to know about my husband's reaction to all the drama that took place, so here it is. When I first told him how sister-in-law was treating me, he got angry. But then when I told him how I handled the whole situation, he found it hilarious. He said that she deserved what I did to her. He also said that he never really liked sister-in-law even when she was still married to his brother. According to him, she would often hang out with the wrong crowd, and there were times when she treated his brother like shit. Also, as for my mother-in-law, she apologized to me for being rude and yelling at me that day on the phone when sister-in-law said that I was being a bitch. She said that as the mother of sister-in-law's husband, she always felt responsible for all the difficulties that sister-in-law was facing after her husband's death. So she ended up smothering sister-in-law. I said that it was fine and forgave her. Anyways, that's it. I will let you all know if something else happens in the future. So, my ex sister in law gave birth to a baby boy a few days ago. I came to know about it from a Facebook post of hers. Other than that, I haven't really heard of anything else about her. I'm really very glad that she's out of our lives and is not trying to interfere in our lives anymore. Also, I know it is not really related, but my husband has left the military. A few weeks ago, he returned home and told him that he was not going back. He said that he wanted to have a normal family life like other people, so he decided to leave the military. He got a job a few days ago. Even though it is quite hard for him to get back to this lifestyle, he has been trying very diligently to adjust to the normal lifestyle. He had also been getting military counseling because he has some mental health issues. Also, to be really honest, I am very glad to be able to have him near me. Other than that, everything is really fine. NTA, you don't have to feel guilty about anything. I understand that you might feel responsible for the situation your sister in law is in now, but there's no need for you to take responsibility. She was the one who brought this whole thing on herself. She is the one responsible for her condition, and you have nothing to be guilty about. I mean, after everything she has done to you, there is no need for you to feel guilty. Just think of it as karma for testing you like crap. NTA, no, you are not the a-hole. Your sister-in-law is the one who is in the wrong here. You did nothing wrong, so there's no need for you to feel guilty. I understand that you might feel responsible for all the things that happened to your sister-in-law after you kicked her out of your house. And it is easy to feel like that, but I want you to remember all the things that your sister-in-law did to you, including telling your mother-in-law that you were a bitch when you weren't, and throwing all your stuff away just because you refused to move out of your own house. I, 29 female, am 25 weeks pregnant. My boyfriend, 32 male, and I had invited our parents and siblings over for dinner to announce the gender, and also to ask for permission to name her after our grandmothers. My mom's mom as first name and his mom's mom as middle name. Everyone was overjoyed and said we didn't even have to ask for permission. I'm so happy. My grandmother died when I was 13 and I miss her every single day. She was the most amazing soul and so deeply loved. We still all talk about her. She meant the world to my family. My mom pointed out that she did think I should call my aunt, her sister, and ask if it's okay. I agreed, but I just knew this might cause drama. Not with my aunt. She's a very Peter Pan type personality and was just very touched that I want to use my grandmother's name. She asked if I had asked my cousin, and this is where it all went downhill. For context, my cousin, 43 female, had a daughter last year after many years of infertility and treatments. Due to her age, she can't have more and can't afford it. She and her fiance can barely afford one kid. My cousin did want to name her after our grandmother, but her fiance insisted on his mother's name. She had died 2 years before. My cousin and I are not close. She is a huge brat and has said some extremely hurtful things to me over the years. She treats me like a child and always points out that she was the family favorite growing up. I won't go into specific details, but for my mental health, I had to distance myself from her. I decided to call her and tell her about the name, and she went totally nuts on me. How dared I to use that name? It was her grandmother first. She was like a third daughter to her. I was just a little kid and not at all close to her, that our grandmother would cry knowing I stole the name. I told her to calm down, that I do not agree with her narrative, and that this was my decision, and then I hung up. She has badmouthed me to our entire family, and now everyone is taking sides. The ones on her side are all saying that they feel sorry for her and why I can't just choose another name. I think it's silly to have this much drama over a name, but I love my grandmother so much, and I would love to honor her this way. AITA? Thank you for all your responses. I really was going crazy because I think this drama is silly. And just once again, my cousin being a brat. For context, the name is very unusual. My grandmother died after a long battle with cancer, and the loss changed our family. My aunt has now called me and said that she wants to withdraw her permission. After reading all your replies, I found the courage and told her now that I don't really care what she thinks, and I honestly think this is ridiculous. My cousin then grabbed the phone, said that I'm being disrespectful of her challenges, how I've had it so easy my entire life, and my typical childish behavior is showing yet again, that we should agree that nobody uses this name. I told her no, I will not agree to this, and she had a chance to use it. Then it was suddenly about me disrespecting her dead mother-in-law and how I robbed her daughter of this name. She already named her daughter. WTF? My mom then called and told me to stop taking their calls, that she would handle this. The thing is that my mom, bless her, but she also always makes excuses for my aunt and cousin. I'm so sick of this, and I will go ahead with the name. NTA, she had her chance to use the name and chose not to. That's the hard truth of it. As the baby's mother, she actually had the legal right to name her whatever she wanted. She didn't have to do what her husband wanted. She chose to. Her reasons for choosing to pass this name over are not the focus. I'm sure they're sound and that it was a difficult decision for her. But at the end of the day, she weighed her options and made a choice. She has to live with the choice now, and that includes watching other people use the name. NTA. But if, as you say, there's no possibility of your cousin using the name, for goodness sake, why did you even bother calling her? All it accomplished was giving her a chance to vent her hurt and anger all over you. Not to mention, if you go ahead, ammunition to carry on the family drama basically forever. So, detaching the actual issue from all that, yes, you are 100% correct. She is equally not. And I think it's a wonderful idea to give your daughter a name with so many positive and loving connotations. If you're prepared to deal with the ongoing fallout, and it sounds as if you are, then there should be no doubt in your mind. I'm certain your grandmother would have been touched to know that either, or indeed both you and your cousin, chose to remember her when naming your daughter. As it is, your cousin made the decision with her fiance to name her daughter after his mother. I also suspect your grandmother would have been more upset to find that silly arguments resulted in nobody reusing a name they like. Your daughter, yours, and your partner's choice of name. It's nice to let other people know the name if you choose, but they do not get a right of veto. NTA. A few weeks ago, my husband bought me a pizza from the place he works. It has a pizza counter where you choose your toppings. He got me spicy chicken. I haven't eaten chicken in months, but I didn't make it a big deal, so I told him, I'm not really eating chicken, ATM, so next time get me just mushroom and cheese. So last week, he comes in with another pizza from work and says, I got you a spicy chicken pizza. I was really pissed and said, I really don't eat chicken anymore. I told you that the last time. I wasn't a bitch about it or anything, but was pissed he paid for a pizza I didn't want to eat. I made it super clear that I didn't eat chicken anymore, and I especially didn't like the cube chicken on the pizzas. So today he rang asking if I wanted a pizza made. I told him yes, please. Cheese, spicy cheese, mushroom, and onion. No problem. I picked him up and he told me the lady mistook spicy cheese for spicy chicken, and my pizza had chicken on it again. The place he works sell pre-made pizzas from that counter, so it could have been sold, but he said nothing and just took it. When he told me, I said, "Oh, you're joking me. I was looking forward to that. I'll just go get my own." And we spent the car ride in silence. We get out of the car and he slams the door as hard as possible. I said, "I don't know what you're pissed about." And he said, "Open the freaking door." Then called me one ungrateful CNT. And he hasn't spoke to me since. I would understand if I threw a whole fit and made a scene, but I didn't. I just made it clear I was pissed that he got me chicken on my pizza for a third time when I'm off it. Trying to go full vegetarian. Chicken was the only meat I ate for 2+ years, but I have stopped eating it months ago, apart from the pizza. I know I should be grateful that he got me a pizza, but if I got him the wrong order 3 times in a row, he would not be okay. And the name calling really hurt. I don't think I overreacted. I barely reacted, but to be called an ungrateful CNT seems excessive. But I don't know. AITA? NTA. Once or twice in a blue moon is fine to forget if it was like a preference or getting something mixed up. However, not eating meat and him not remembering, that seems fishy. Look at his behavior, and him calling you names is not okay. At this point, I would address that. Why he felt the need to do that, and point out your reaction versus how he would have reacted if you got his order wrong 3 times in a row. This is about his behavior and name calling, not your order. NTA. To me, it sounds like he is one of those weirdos that gets offended when people don't eat meat. but he doesn't want to outright say anything to you about it. 3 times is not a coincidence. And honestly, even if he is just forgetting every single time, that's still not great. That just shows he's not listening to you. You're NTA, but your husband is. NTA. Totally disproportionate response, too. If this is unusual but seems to start happening more often, there could be a reason he's lashing out and distracted. If it's fairly common to react like this or be oblivious to what you like, want, ask for, and then blame you for not being pleased, that's red flag, narcissistic, emotional abuse. Sometimes it's just a stupid pizza topping gone wrong, but sometimes that's just what makes you look harder at things.